Officials watching the Parker Lake wildfire near Fort Nelson say the fire's western and southern flanks have grown, though it's still about 2 kilometers away from that community. But a second out-of-control fire is now burning north of Fort Nelson. Our Michelle Ghoussoub has been in Fort St. John, where many people are evacuating to. She joins us now. Michelle, what are the most pressing risks to that community now?
Well, Dan, we just came out of a community meeting. Around 400 evacuees were packed into this hockey arena to hear the latest update. And that update was largely good news. Over the past 2 days, the wind pushed that fire south towards the river, which of course creates a natural barrier to stop that fire from growing. But there is concern about a second wildfire of note that is north of the city. Take a listen to the mayor.
The problem is that Patry fire. You know, there's no sense holding back. We might as well let you know that that Patry fire is burned within 25 kilometers north of the community. It's burning mainly along the river.
And this was a highly emotional meeting, Dan. You could hear the relief when they had that update that the Parker Lake fire has largely held. You could hear the concern, people learning of that second fire. At some point, there were cheers when they brought out an emergency worker who coordinated that evacuation, because this was one of the first times the whole community has come together since they were evacuated.
Michelle, we're also hearing some frustration, though, from evacuees in Fort St. John. What are they telling you?
Well, it's important to keep in mind that the number of evacuees here has swelled from 1,400 to 3,000. That is simply a huge number of people for a small community to take in. So people are now being directed elsewhere to Chetwynd, Dawson, Crete, Prince George. Around 231 people now arrived and registered in Prince George. And people are expressing frustration with accessing emergency services like vouchers and getting reimbursed for hotels. Take a listen to one woman we spoke with as she came out of the center.
The websites were crashing, and I'm still very appreciative. Just maybe if we could figure that out, just because some elders I know were having issues too, and it is kind of a hassle. It's really exhausting trying to figure that out.
So there is frustration, there is also gratitude. It might be hard to believe, Dan, but just 5 minutes ago, it was absolutely pouring. And we saw the mayor come out, it was pouring rain. He put his hands to the sky and he said, we need more of this. So people will be watching those rainy conditions we're expecting tomorrow and hoping for the best.
Thank you, Michelle. Michelle Ghoussoub joining us from Fort St. John.